Courtney Bunting. Two congressmen from Eastern Carolina are speaking out following the ousting Tuesday of House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
Bailey Bockover talked with Representatives Don Davis and Greg Murphy, and she's live now with what they're saying tonight. Bailey?
Today I spoke to Congressman Don Davis, who voted to oust McCarthy, as well as Representative Greg Murphy, who voted the opposite. Today they explain why they voted in the direction that they did. Don Davis held a press conference Wednesday to discuss his rationale for ousting McCarthy, while Greg Murphy joined in the unsuccessful effort to keep him in the position. Davis explains why he voted the way he did.
I joined in a bipartisan vote to remove the speaker because there was never a clear commitment made to work across the aisle to tackle the toughest challenges facing our families. That commitment was never made.
Greg Murphy feels the change was unnecessary, saying the speaker was, quote, set up to fail by the same group of individuals who brought him down.
I thought he did a very good job of bringing these people together and just trying to keep a unified voice moving forward.
Both congressmen used the opportunity to also discuss the implications this will have on residents in North Carolina in the 1st Congressional District.
For the residents of the 1st District, just know that we have fought to keep the government open, and right now we're fighting to bring common sense, what I believe, back to government. This is just the basics. Everybody doesn't always agree in their household, but we're still family. We have to be able to work together here for the greater good of Eastern North Carolinians.
When asked what residents in the 3rd District can expect, Murphy says the people need a proactive and responsive leader.
I've tried to be a solid representative for them, to be available, to be out. I work 7 days a week, and so I'm trying to listen to them, respond to them, and do all the things that a congressional member should do.
Davis says that they are looking at next week to hopefully have a decision made on a new speaker. Live in Greenville, Bailey Bockover, WITN News. Courtney?
All right, thanks, Bailey. And as of right now, North Carolina Republican Patrick McHenry from Hickory is currently serving as the interim speaker until a decision is made.